mosquitoes who spread Zika, dengue, yellow fever, chikungunya and more are coming to you. Right now, they're spreading toxic chemicals, and they're hurting humans and the environment. And they're not even effective because the mosquitoes are rapidly becoming resistant. Diptera is introducing a sustainable and efficient mosquito birth control. The idea is to flood an area with sterile male insects, which according to trials reduces the wild population by 95%. Diptera proprietary technology widens the use to many more pests, starting from mosquitoes.
All right, so there are a number of ways that are being done today. The problem with these approaches is that they're very imprecise. Our solution will only affect the specific mosquito being targeted and only where it is being targeted. We're not going to affect the mosquitoes out in the wild.
The current annual mosquito control spending is $10 billion, and there's a much bigger untapped market because the existing solutions aren't working. We have strong interest from potential customers and letters of intent. These include a US mosquito control district, as well as the largest US mosquito control company. First, we will win the war against mosquitoes, but our long-term goal is to free humanity from both pests and pesticides. If you share this vision, come and join us.
The world's population is growing, and so is its appetite for meat. But this is simply not sustainable. Cultivated meat is a new way of making real meat just without the animal. So what you do is just grow the fat and muscle cells that are required for the end product, and growing meat this way actually releases up to 87% fewer greenhouse gases. So you may ask, why can't we buy it already? What we found was that the key challenge holding back this entire industry is the cost of feeding the cells. This growth medium makes up over 80% of production costs. Companies are using fetal bovine serum, and that actually is derived from pregnant cows during the slaughtering process. What we're making at Multis Media is a completely animal-free replacement to blood serum that is designed specifically for the cultivated meat industry. We test thousands of growth media recipes to make sure that we are achieving consistent performance across multiple cell lines. With a core focus on growth media development, we are enabling profitable scale-up for leading cultivated meat companies and lowering entry barriers for new innovators to drive this space forward.
Would you be satisfied if your sunscreen only lasted for 15 minutes? Probably not. So why are we satisfied when our disinfectants only give us 15 minutes worth of protection from the transmission of deadly pathogens? Chlorine has long been known as an effective biocide. The only drawback of chlorine is that it doesn't last on a surface for very long. So Halomine's first product, Halofilm, allows you to take the same level of chlorine that you'd find in a pool and put it on almost any surface for as long as a month. How does it work? Well, simply Halofilm sprayed on a surface before a chlorine-containing cleaning product holds onto the chlorine at just the right concentrations to be deadly to microbes and safe for us. You can maintain the chlorine with repeated application of disinfectant, but Halofilm does not build up, so you will never exceed safe limits of chlorine on that surface. And it provides protection that you can see. We are in the global fight against infectious disease, and we have a number of pathogens that are developing resistance. So Halomine is developing antimicrobial products that provide long-term protection against a variety of pathogens. We hope you'll join us.
Fish farming is industrializing at an incredible pace. With that come challenges. At the moment, about half of all fish that we eat come from farms. On the surface, that seems like a great statistic, but on diving deeper, you start to see the reality of fish farming. There are problems with pollution, disease, and animal stress. It's not uncommon for entire farms to be lost to an outbreak or contaminant. Compounding the problem is what farmers use to keep these fish healthy. Medicine and feed are both expensive and resource intense. Aquaculture is at the moment a $180 billion market, and in the next 10 years, that will be closer to $300 billion. Almost half of the costs and resources that go into fish farming are related to fish food. And so if you want to start making farming better, you've got to start with better feed. Biofin will make existing nature-based solutions better. We've developed a specialized method that protects marine ingredients and amplifies their effects. With our technology, we can increase absorption and bioavailability of nutrients and medicines, improve their health and nutritional benefit, and reduce the amount needed. and we can make many of these improvements tenfold. By upgrading the feed technology, we're upgrading the industry and ultimately the quality of fish. Biofin-fed fish are guaranteed to consumers that they'll be getting the most omega-rich, nutrient-packed, environmentally friendly fish on the market.
Over 450,000 brownfield sites, contaminated sites in the US, and they contain over 100 billion tons of toxic soil. And yet less than 0.1% of that soil is being treated due to cost. The soil has to either be excavated, taken someplace and buried, or treated with energy-intensive chemical or thermal processes. There has to be a better way. Allied Microbiota uses microbes to clean contaminants from soil. And our microbes have shown groundbreaking results against compounds like those polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, PHAs, dioxins, and chlorinated compounds. Thermo-O is a natural microbe, and this microbe really fantastic. They can not only survive in these toxins, but they kind of eat them for lunch, using their metabolic processes to break down these toxic compounds into harmless substances. When we say that we can solve the problem, we're told that it'll be too expensive and too slow. We disagree. Our microbes can degrade environmental contaminants faster and cheaper than existing remediation technologies.
Single-cell sequencing allows researchers to interrogate individual cells to study their gene expression signatures. While the answers to many fundamental questions in biology actually can be answered with the help of a single-cell dataset, there's one fundamental problem, which is that currently research biologists are poorly equipped to find these answers. The BioMH single-cell platform empowers researchers to perform end-to-end analysis of their single-cell RNA-seq sequencing data. The data processing component guides users through the essential cell filtering steps, including the removal of empty droplets by cell size distribution. The data exploration component then allows researchers to rapidly gain meaningful insight into their dataset. Reception of our product has been overwhelmingly positive, and our biggest customer is Harvard Medical School. Our vision for the future is a world where every single research bioinformatician, whether they work in the United States or the UK or India or China, can affordably access a world-class single-cell data analytics solution that they can use to discover new drug targets and to enable precision medicine.
Clinicians are aware that UTIs are a problem, that they're becoming more and more difficult to treat, that people have to be more hospitalized. A lot of women take these probiotic supplements. They need to pass a lot of metabolic barriers in order to arrive at your intimate area. So in terms of vaginal health, you want to have the gram-positive bacteria, which live in your intimate area in your vagina. You have also gram-negative bacteria, which are associated with these recurrent infections. Gram-negative bacteria are, for example, also chlamydia, are gonorrhea, but are also these UTI bacteria, like E. coli bacteria. Our solution is very unique because it allows for a very targeted killing. This organism that we have identified selectively kills these gram-negative bad bacteria, while it does not harm in any way the gram-positive ones. A lot of women are actively searching for a solution, so I think they feel really, really happy that someone is actually doing this, and then someone is doing it that also understands them and knows how it feels and knows how it impacts them as well.
Bleeding is probably the biggest health threat that nobody really focuses on. Within the US alone, it's the leading cause of death for people aged 1 to 44. And at all times of your life, it's a severe problem. younger adults, typically happens trauma, things like car accidents. And then as you get older, and typically you end up on these anticoagulants like Plavix, it becomes sort of more of these internal bleeding that kind of leaks rather than a massive injury. Even if it's not severe, it can have major effects on your quality of life. So Craig's lead candidate is Chi-1. In the bloodstream, it targets a specific coagulation factor called thrombin. And so Chi-1's job, once there's thrombin, it accelerates the rate of that thrombin formation and gets thrombin to put that brick and mortar wall up that stops the bleed. So to date, we have done a rat trauma model, a pig trauma model that was funded by DARPA, and most recently with IndieBio, we just completed a rat Plavix model. And so in each of these studies, what we've seen is that Chi-1 is fast acting. You're able to stop bleeding within 5 minutes. We've also had significant reduction of blood loss in all of these models, and that can be the difference between life and death.